Make sure the dryer is disconnected from the wall outlet. You should already know how to take the dryer apart. If you don't know how, go view the videos on how to take the dryer apart first before proceeding. Let me show you how to remove the heating elements and how to prepare the shroud to restring the new heating elements. The easier way to remove the heating elements is by cutting them with a wire cutter and removing them piece by piece. Now we need to remove the heater terminals from the terminal blocks. Before you remove the wires, mark the location of the wires on the shroud with a magic marker. To remove the heating element terminals, you will need to remove the terminal block. To remove the terminal block, you will need to push this tab down with a flat screwdriver. Then you could take the terminal block right out. You will need to straighten out the tabs on the heating element terminals to remove them from the terminal block. After removing the heater terminals from the terminal block, set the terminal block in place, but do not secure it with the holding tab yet. Do the same to the right side of the heating element. Mark the wire color and remove the wire. Use the procedure you used before to remove the terminal block. Push on the tab and take the block right out. Remove the heating element terminal like I showed you before and set the terminal block in place, but do not secure it with the holding tab yet. Next, you will need to check all the insulators around the shroud. If you find any bad ones, replace them with the new insulators that come with the restringing kit. If all the insulators check OK, all I will do is replace the heating elements. Use the new insulators that come with the restringing kit if you need to. Remove the wires from the safety thermal left. Mark with a magic marker on the shroud the location of the insulators that you will need to replace. I use a wire cord hanger to hold the shroud in place while I remove the screws. Remove the holding screws from the heating element shroud and let it hang on the wire. Go behind the heater shroud and straighten out the insulator tabs on the insulators that you're going to replace, like this, and take them right out. Install the new insulators that come with the restring kit. Go behind the heater shroud and bend the tabs to hold it in place. Set the heater shroud in place and screw in the 4 holding screws to the back wall of the dryer. Remove the coat hanger wire and install the wires to the safety thermal left. Let me show you how to stretch the heating elements to the right length. There are 2 heating elements, the inner coil and the outer coil. The inner coil has a longer straight wire where the 2 coils are joined together, and the outer coil has a short straight wire. Let me show you how to stretch the heating elements using a piece of wood 2x4 about 6 feet long. Put a nail on one end of the 2x4 like this. Hang the heating elements on the nail like this. Put the outer coil on the left. Mark the wood on the first coil. Then mark the wood on the inner coil, first coil. Remember, the inner coil is the one with the longest straight wire where they join together. Measure from the outer coil line on the wood 48 1/4 inches long and draw a line. Measure from the inner line mark on the wood 40 1/4 inches long and draw a line. Stretch the outer coil until when you relax it measures about 48 inches long. Stretch the inner coil until when you relax it measures about 40 inches long. This is the way the coil should look after you stretch them right. The inner coil should be about 40 inches long and the outer coil should be about 48 inches long. After stretching the heating elements and making sure that the dryer is disconnected from the wall outlet, let's install the heating elements. You will need to bend these tabs on the heating element terminals, otherwise the terminals won't fit through the insulators. Stick the inner coil heating element through each one of the insulators. Make sure that you don't overstretch the heating element. After that, do the same to the outer coil heating element. Stick the heating element terminal through the terminal block. Remove the terminal block and use a needle nose pliers to bend the heating element terminal tabs to keep it in place. Install the terminal block and bend up the terminal block holding tab with a screwdriver like this. Do the other side. Remove the terminal block and insert the heater terminals, the outer one on the left and the inner one on the right. Bend the tabs on the heating element terminals to keep the heating elements in place. Install the terminal block and bend the terminal block holding tab with a screwdriver like this. If your dryer uses insulated blocks like these ones, set them in place. Stretch the heating element just enough to set it in the insulators. Just like this. Set your multimeter to read ohms. Connect one of the test leads to the heating element and the other test lead to the metal shroud. And take a reading. Take a reading the same way on the two other heating elements on the left side. If all of your readings are infinity, that is what you want. The heating element is not grounded. If any of the readings read close to 0 ohms, the heating elements are grounded, and that's not what you want. You will need to find out where the heating element is touching the metal. If the heating element is not grounded, connect the wires to the heating element. Now all you have to do is put the dryer back together. For the best place to buy replacement parts online, visit Repair Clinic. When you buy parts from Repair Clinic, you have 365 days from the day of purchase to return the part for a refund or for a replacement. You can find links to Repair Clinic in my website.